Welcome back to the Surrey Watch Guy, everyone. I'm Dan, and today's a really good day because new watch day. I've managed to get hold of a Smiths Everest PRS 25 36mm Rolex Explorer 1016 homage. God, that's a right old mouthful. Anyway, a little bit of history about Smiths, and then we'll get into the actual watch. Smiths first came to prominence as far as wristwatches are concerned when they achieved worldwide fame in 1953, when one of their watches was worn by Edmund Hillary all the way to the summit of Mount Everest. Smiths watches were incredibly popular until the 1970s, when the Far East shook up the watch industry with quartz movements. Nowadays you can still buy a Smiths watch from the Timefactors website. Getting hold of them isn't so easy, however. The website is often like a closed storefront where you can peruse the wares but not purchase. Does that sound familiar? Can you think of another company that does that? The Smiths Everest PRS 25 is basically a homage to the Rolex Explorer 1016. It's not a direct copy per se, and Smiths have done a great job of keeping the key design elements of the 1016 whilst using its own elements to differentiate it. The 1016 is an absolutely incredible watch that many collectors would like to have in their collection. But finding a good example with all original parts, unpolished case and a bracelet with minimal stretch combined with an acrylic crystal that's not bashed up is no easy task. Add to that the price, which will be north of 15 grand, and if you throw in a box and papers it can go even more than that. So totally out of reach for most people, and certainly not an amount of money I would like to spend on a watch. Okay, so the watch comes to you in this little travel case. It's very much like what Omega will send a watch back to you after they've serviced it. Protects it perfectly well. Opening it up, there's a little polishing cloth with the Timefactors logo on it, and there is the watch. The watch I have here is actually the third iteration of the Smiths Everest. The original one had a acrylic crystal. This has sapphire, and this has the riveted bracelet. It features the classic Smiths Deluxe logo, which is written in a much nicer font than the previous one. It starts large at the edge, then gets smaller in the middle and larger again at the outside, with Deluxe written underneath and a little crown above that. The version 1 and version 2 had a much more pronounced font in a uniform size. The V3 is truer to the 1950s and it's much less in your face. Anyway, let's get on to the specifics. The watch features a 36mm stainless steel case. Its thickness is 11.3mm with a lug-to-lug length of 43.5mm. Finally, it's got a lug width of 20mm, which is literally perfect for any aftermarket strap that you wish to put on this. And let's be fair, this watch will be an absolute strap monster. The case is quite small compared to the sea of 40mm watches on the market, but the long slender lugs certainly add a little bit more to the overall wrist presence without being too much in your face. The lugs curve down and help the watch to hug your wrists. It's beautifully finished. The side of the lugs are polished and the top of the lugs are brushed. This really helps to make the polished bezel pop, and it looks really good. The lugs also have drill holes, so yeah, we can definitely see that we need to get the bracelet changed out on this as soon as possible. The dial is matte black, almost like a satin finish, and it features painted Arabic numerals and minute track. The lume is Super Luminova C3 and it glows really well, and I'll show you that later on. At first in photos I thought that the lume was white, but in natural light it has a very, very light green tinge to it. It works really well and gives the watch a nice vintage vibe. The dial layout is very much the Rolex Explorer style, with the 3691 dial layout with the triangle of lume at the 12 o'clock. It's a simple dial, but it works so well. There's the Mercedes hour hand, and sword tip shaped minute hand. The central seconds hand features a lollipop which almost reaches the hour marker track. The counterweight is different from the Rolex Explorer as it lacks the lollipop on the end of the counterweight. Above the numeral at 6 it says Everest. It's very, very subtle and you can only see it in certain light, and I actually really like that because then the Smiths logo, it literally does take centre stage. Below the minute track at 6 it says Great Britain, which is a nod to the Smiths UK heritage, although I now believe that the watch is actually assembled in China. Covering this dial is a sapphire crystal. It does have a slight dome to it and it features an anti-reflective coating on its underside. Legibility is great and it allows little distortions of the dial at certain angles, which I really like this kind of aspect, much more than these boring flat sapphire crystals that you find on many modern watches these days. The watch features a screw down crown that recesses slightly into the side of the case. This enables the watch to be water resistant to 100 meters, more than enough for this kind of watch to go for a swim or having a shower or washing the dishes at home. The case back on the Everest is a simple one. It tells you that it's 100 meters water resistant, the watch serial number and the model name. Well, it's certainly more than what you'd find on a Rolex Explorer with its bland screw-in case back. I'm not that fussed about case backs, to be honest, and seldom look at them, so it makes no odds to me unless I'm taking the odd photograph for Instagram or whatever. The bracelet is a simple 3-link design which tapers down from 20mm at the lugs down to 16mm at the clasp. I love a bracelet that tapers, and I think it's absolutely blasphemy watch companies that dish out these watches with a non-tapered bracelet. Just bloody awful. It's got a very good quality feel to it, this bracelet. It's very substantial and it actually adds some serious weight to the watch. It features the fake rivets, very much like the style that you find on the Tudor Black Bay 58. I don't exactly love them, but I don't hate them either. You don't really notice it in day-to-day wear, but personally I'd rather that it wasn't there, but it is, so it is what it is. Adjusting the bracelet's very simple. It features small screws, so a little optician screwdriver, and adjusting the bracelet is very simple. Onto the clasp. It's a machined clasp, no tuner can clasp here. It's brushed in the centre with the Smiths logo, and it's got polished flanks. Looks good. Pop your thumbnail underneath. It opens up. You know, it's good quality. You know, really well finished for a watch at this price point, and it's got quite a satisfying click. Micro adjustments can be made, and there's 3 positions available, and you just need to get a toothpick or a spring bar tool and you can adjust it there. Powering the watch is a Miyota 9039 movement, which was released to the market back in 2018. It's an automatic self-winding caliber which features 24 joules and it beats at 28,800 VPH. It also comes with a 42-hour power reserve. Miyota claim accuracy of between -10 to +30 seconds per day. Mine is gaining so far 11 seconds per day, and I'm pretty happy with that. I may get it regulated when things reopen again in the UK, however. Okay, so what does a watch like this cost you? Well, make sure you sat down here because it's pretty incredible. It was only £325. I know, right? Absolutely crazy. And if you'd handled one and you didn't know its value, you could easily think this was worth of upwards of £1,000. It really has to be seen to be believed. It's beautiful. So why did I buy the watch in the first place? Okay, well, for the last 2 years, my daily wear for work has been an Apple Watch. I train most mornings before work and then go on to my job as a dog walker. I've kept nice watches for when I'm not working. Anyway, I miss the pleasure of analog timekeeping and a smooth sweeping second hand. Add to that the fact of being fed up of seeing calories and counting steps, etc. So I wanted a smallish, thin watch which was easy to read at a glance, fits under a jumper sleeve and can take punishment from dogs jumping up and getting it bashed on trees, rocks, Lord knows what else. This watch ticks all those boxes and does it in a simple yet stylish way. It will come off the bracelet after this video and it will live on a NATO strap of sorts, of which I have several. I like this watch so much in fact that I'm going to pick up the gilt version and change out the sapphire crystal for a domed acrylic one. So it's that perfect dressy vintage looking watch. So any negatives? Well, maybe that I should have bought one of these sooner, and it really could kill the watch collecting. It's one of those watches which you can just wear for anything. So is the Smiths Everest worth the hype? First, let's be clear, this isn't Rolex style hype, but amongst the whist community, Smiths has built up quite the fan base of late. The watch is of great quality with well thought out designs and a very competitive price point that almost anybody can afford. Timefactors are certainly pleasing their fans, and naturally it will create demand, which when coupled with small supply will drive up a little hype. So yes, I think it's justified. So there you have it everyone, the Smiths Everest PRS 25 36mm. What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you'd like to see future videos, maybe subscribe, but please click the bell icon, then you'll get a notification when a new video drops. I'm also over on Instagram at the Surrey Watch Guy, so give me a follow. It'd be great to see you over there. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.